Like this one?
All right, we'll go ahead and start the meeting. It's 9:16, we got a quorum. We'll go ahead and start with the 8/12/24 meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Those opposed, same. Motion carries with 4. Approval of vendor payable claims. I have a list of them if anyone would like to see quickly under.
I guess I could have been doing that. If anybody else is familiar with it and they want to make a motion, don't wait on me.
I'll make a motion, we approve the vendor payables as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. Those opposed, same. Motion carries with 4. Solid waste director's report.
I don't know if anybody got to see the post from the Waste Tire Amnesty Day. It went really well. We didn't have a line of traffic. We were able to keep people moving. We took approximately 1,544 tires on Saturday, and we serviced 103 vehicles. We're going to keep taking tires throughout this week based off of what I anticipate our fees being. I think we can take 3,000 tires and, be able to use our grant fully.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stop at 3,000 and kind of see where we're at, but that's my goal, is to continue collecting this week. And so that's that update.
So before you go on, the plan is not to have an additional day, but just to take them as normal now,
Yep,
up to the 3,000 mark.
up to the
So we have
3,000.
basically 2/3 of our capacity still left.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
Is that
and
something we should advertise with the city and county's websites?
yeah, I plan on putting something out there today, again, on Facebook. So if you guys want to share it on your public pages also, but just a reminder that we are taking them on a first come, first served basis this week. Must call ahead is what, which is what our flyer said originally. So
But if somebody doesn't call ahead and they come in and you still have the capacity, you're still going to take them.
absolutely, yep.
It's just don't call ahead in case we've filled our capacity.
Exactly, yep. I'm happy to report the recycling facility was a part of the Whitley County Soil and Water District 5th grade field day event last week. So I spent half days for 2 days last week teaching our 5th graders in our community about recycling. I think they had a lot of fun. It was very hands-on. I had some good feedback, and they invited me back for next year. So I call that a win. I am working on getting a quote for bins because we know we're going to have to make a bin purchase. I haven't heard back yet, so I have nothing to give you on that. I was hoping to have some sort of information. I sent out the request for quote Monday of last week and haven't heard back, so I'll be following up on that. And then just to make sure you guys are aware, I know I put it in the email, but my association director, my annual meeting's coming up October 8th and 9th, which will have me out of the office, but I'll of course make sure I have coverage for myself. So
Where's that at, Tara?
it's in Bloomington this year.
Bloomington.
Mhm. So that's all I've got.
Forgot to mention that y'all got poison ivy.
Oh yeah, we got 3 of us, maybe more of us got poison ivy from handling all the tires on Saturday. The picture, you couldn't see how dirty we were. We were pretty scuzzy, but that's okay. We had fun. We did. I have a great group of friends. Some people I used to work with came out and showed up, and we all had a good time. So it went well, minus the poison ivy.
Does anyone have anything to bring up their old business? All right, moving on to new business, ordinance number 2024-2, salary ordinance. Matt, do you want to speak to that or?
I have the ordinance if anybody wants it.
Well, I didn't draft it. I think Kara Madeline.
I did, yeah.
And so
Oh, okay,
I did
sorry.
review it and I mean, it had some blanks that you guys still have to decide. But it's consistent with last year's, I think, which is why Terry just did it. She changed it.
Right. So the only thing that we added that wasn't on there from last year was the longevity. Because I think that starts at 2 years, right? And next year will be the start of 2 years. So it matters for 2025. So that's why we added that. And here's last year's actually, so you guys can look at it. I have a copy of it if you want to review it.
So budgetarily, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we approved 68.5 for the salary piece, I think. Is that right? Does anybody know? And
I thought it was a little higher than
well,
that.
did we up it to 70?
You guys didn't say, you guys threw out a lot of numbers. So
Gotcha.
that's why I left it blank because there was no clear decision from what I could tell on what you guys decided.
Maybe we did. I'm just looking at the budget that we had in front of us last time, but I think you're right. I think we did up it. I think we put the actual appropriation at 70 and with the decision, with the discussion that we're going to come back and have that conversation.
So I think you're right. You're right.
That's my recollection.
Was it that we said at 70 with the conversation piece? Because currently salary is at what, we budgeted 65. Is that what your salary is for this year?
Yeah. It's 65,520.
65,520. Okay.
And we voted on, because it was 5.5, wasn't that right? Because I remember we were gonna do 4, and then 4 you brought up like 6 or 7, and then I think we had it in the middle, like 5.5.
So what was in the budget was 68.5, and that was a 5.38% change.
Okay.
So going up to 70 was more than that.
So I can fill in 70. on this.
I don't know that. I don't know that we approved that the salary would be set at 70. I think
guys
it was
did.
more of we set the bar of it can't go past this number, but we were going to have a conversation as to where it would go.
So this is written up not as a yearly compensation, but her biweekly pay.
Mhm. My biweekly pay right now is 2,520.
I would
Biweekly.
be comfortable in suggesting that we just make it a $4,000 increase because that would be very consistent with what we did with some of the county positions. That's just a suggestion on my part.
So the salary overall would be 69,000 or 69,520.
69,520.
How many pay periods are there?
26.
So biweekly, that'd be 2674,
2673.
7384. Yeah, I just rounded it, but yeah.
I don't know what percentage that is though.
Well, it'll just be,
That might be a higher percentage than what you guys were thinking.
you probably hit
Could we do
5.5%.
$50 a year for longevity? So we can't pass this blank.
Well, the one from last year said 100 and that kind of grabbed me too, because I always thought it was just 50. 50 is what the county is, right? And 50 is what the city is for the most part, but you just made some changes.
We just made changes in next year's budget, but that's what we're currently under at this very moment. Yes.
So it's 100.
think it's 6.1%. I could be wrong about that, but
Just for, if I may, just for further information, her position with WIS is factored as a PAT 2. And even though so for county employees, we got, generally speaking, 3%. So for 2025, PAT 2's working 1950 hours annually will be at 67,006. So comparable because she's working 2080 hours annually. That is 71,473.
You said 71,473.
Yes, so that would be
that would be the
exactly
comparable.
comparable to a county PAT 2 for 25.
So that's 2748 per pay, 2748.96.
I didn't do, divided by 26.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah,
27.
2748.96.
Have to widen that out.
I have a brand new one.
Great, thanks.
Well, explain to me what that means.
What you're saying is that that's a comparable, that's a comparable category to what others are in that category, right? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. You know, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, the board requested that the position be factored by WIS, and it was factored as a PAT 2.
Mhm.
So county employees anyway are paid, you know, according to that. So for 25, they approved salary for a county employee in a PAT 2 category of 67,006. However, they work, that's only based on 1950 hours annually. She works 2080 hours annually. So if you do the math with that, divided by the hours, that puts it to 71,473.
Terry, do you remember what you advertised for? What did you,
80 or 70.
70.
70? You'll have to do an additional appropriation if you approve over that.
Well, and this is the same, but it's different. And even though you're on an island out there by yourself, that PAT 2 usually comes along with quite a bit more supervising of employees. So there's another point that, I mean, and you supervise several people, but no other full-time people. So I think that kind of, you know, I think we need to look at that, consider that too when we talk about where we think it should be compared to the county's PAT 2.
WIS is the one that put the position based on the job description you referred to the PAT 2 category. It has to do with supervisor, but there are a lot of factors involved with putting it in there.
There are, but I would be, again, not this, as far as conversation, I would say that I'm more comfortable staying in that 60, 69, 5, 20 range rather than the 71 range. But I could be persuaded.
Honestly, I'm more toward Thor's thought purely for the sake of, we've already appropriated up to $70,000 and going up over and above that. I don't, to me, well, I feel like personally, it's a $4,000 raise. I think it's very comparable to what many others. I recognize what you're saying and respect that very much.
I'm not making a
So,
recommendation.
No, I
I'm
get
just
you.
giving-
You're saying a 1-for-1 kind of a thing.
Yeah, I'm just giving more information.
Yep.
For you to make the decision.
So personally, I would be supportive, Thor, of what you're considering.
I would like to stay at the 71 just because she does work more hours and it does make sense to compensate her for those extra hours that she does work. If we're staying on par with the county, it would make sense. But obviously I'm only one vote, so that's just my 2 cents.
QS, do you have thoughts?
I think I'm aligned with Thor.
Excuse me.
Before, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You didn't cut me off.
Before we go any further, I think this is the time to have a discussion because it's open in my mind. Since we have a quorum here, does this take a unanimous decision?
Matt, that's a you question.
It's a,
Well, the additional appropriation part of the salary ordinance.
The salary ordinance.
Isn't it a majority of those present?
that's what I would thought it was.
But that would,
Normally.
but that would only leave.
That means we have to have three of the four.
Three votes that made the decision for a 7-person board. That's why.
Yeah.
It's always been my understanding that if you only have the bare quorum, it has to be a unanimous vote.
I don't think so.
I don't think that's how it works.
I don't think that's correct either. The only question I would have is if there is a specific rule for salary ordinance, which I don't believe there is.
Budget maybe, but salary
I
ordinance,
think
I don't think there is.
that's what was making me think that budget, I think is the only one that is that way.
I think you're good.
But to your point, does it need to be adopted today and does it make sense to do it in October so that there is more discussion? Especially if you're gonna need to do an additional appropriation.
I think it has to be done today, doesn't it, Tiffany?
The salary ordinance.
I'm not sure how this board usually does it. I know that for us at the county level, we don't adopt the salary ordinance until the budget's adopted
I think that's,
solely, and that won't be done until October 7th. I think,
7th,
8th.
So you could presumably wait.
Well,
An additional would need to be until 2025 anyway. If you guys would do the 71,000, you wouldn't do it for 24, it'd be done in 25.
We have till the end of the year to do the appropriation effectively, right?
Until the end of 25.
The additional appropriation, yeah. But I'm saying we have till the end of 2025 to do the additional appropriation, so.
Correct.
We just have to have enough money at the end of the year in that account, so. Yeah. I mean, to me, if you would feel more comfortable, have more board members to have this conversation, I have no problem delaying it, tabling it personally.
Sure.
I would feel comfortable making a motion and seeing how it goes. And if it's not a unanimous decision, then push it to the next meeting, take a vote with that understanding.
Well, but if you get 3 votes, then it's gonna
Then it
pass.
passes no matter what.
Maybe take a straw poll before you take the vote.
I think we just did.
I think we did.
Yeah.
I think it's 3-1.
Yeah, so,
Well,
yes, I guess you did.
I think since we are kind of torn, and Jenny's not here, and Rob's not here, and Madeline's not here, I would be in favor of tabling it until more board members are here for the discussion, because it is a big deal. And I would like more input, but if someone would make a motion.
I make a motion, we table ordinance 2024-02 until the next meeting.
Have a motion.
I'll second.
In a second, is there any further discussion?
I will not be here at the next meeting.
I don't think I will either.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay, well then we'll just tell everybody what they said at the next meeting. Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same. Motion carries with 4 to table. 2025 holiday schedule approval. And that's just right in line with the counties.
exact same one. That was already approved.
Do you guys get Juneteenth off?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys do Columbus Day, but we don't, and whereas we do New Year's Eve. So that's the only difference, I think, between the two schedules as I look at it.
Cool.
With Juneteenth being on a Thursday though, should we observe it on Friday?
I don't think we did, no, it's on June.
We do it on Juneteenth, so.
That's, it's kind of tongue in cheek. That's kind of the point of it though.
I make a motion, we approve the holiday schedules as presented.
We have a motion, a second, is there any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Same motion carries. Public comment? Is there anything else anyone would like to bring up? All right, our next meeting is October 14th at 9 a.m.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn. I wonder why you kept looking at me.
Everybody else one? And I'm like 99% sure I'm not contagious yet.
You're sharing that with us as we're.
That's
leaving?
the 1%. That's the 1%, Teresa.
Now it's just like.
Well, I mean, if you have a contagious disease, that's not